Live.
We are live. We are live. This is the Real Sports Fan Podcast. Back for another episode. It is Monday, June the 14th, 7:12 p.m. Apologize for the tardiness. Had a few technical issues, but we are here and got another legend in the building from CSD, class of 2001. Had a couple battles with him. Had to guard him in the post and all that stuff at 6'2" versus 6'9". You know what I'm saying? But we got big Jawara Stephenson in the building. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man? I was only 6'6" in high school too.
I don't believe it. Show me. Look, it's funny you say that because look, one paper had you at 6'6", another year they had you at 6'8", another year they had you at 6'9". I'm going with 6'9".
Well, I'm not now.
Yeah, I feel you. Hey, it felt like you was 6'9", man, trying to guard you, man. You was a long load down there, bro. Long load down there, man. But I appreciate you jumping on the podcast, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, come on, man. You already know, and you know it would only be right, you know, for us to start off, you know, with our boys, the Heat. You know, I rep my hat, partly because you was coming on here, partly because I need a haircut, so I put the hat on. You got the jersey. What you got on? What's that? The Zoe? What you got on?
Nobody else but Zoe.
Okay. I had to make sure. I thought so, and we gotta talk about that too. So, first and foremost, man, let's get into our boys, man. You know, Bucks swept us. You know, I was kind of mad at the end of the year, man, because we could have really got that 4 or 5 seed, man. We had a lot of tough losses, especially towards the end, man. What's your thoughts on how the season went though for us?
We just didn't get better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We lost a real key piece in Jay Crowder, man. Like we needed him. We really needed him, man. He played many roles for us, man. On top of that, also, you know, keeping Goran Dragic, man. Like I know, you know, he's been with us for a while. He's done good things for us, man. But
I'm with you.
He ain't it, man.
Yeah, I'm with you. Mm-hmm. And I think we got a team option on Dragic too. So I'm hoping you go ahead and decline that. Yeah, let him go. They're saying that Kendrick Nunn could get about 15, 16 mil on the open market. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to keep him. Yeah, we that's too. You know what I mean? So he gonna be gone. But it's gonna be tough.
I had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. Kendrick Nunn is Norris Cole 2.0.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Mm-hmm.
He'll come in, get us a couple buckets here and there, but again, our problem is consistency. We don't have that consistent offensive weapon that we need. You know what I mean?
Right.
And once we get that, we ain't gonna go far. You know what I mean? I don't want to call last year a fluke in the bubble.
It was a little bit.
You know,
no fans. You know, it's the AAU atmosphere. You know, guys like Hero and Robinson. You know, they was comfortable in that set. So even though as a Heat fan, I didn't want to say that either. You know, maybe not a full-on fluke, but it helped. It definitely helped.
You know what though? Teams, because of the play that they had last year in the playoffs, teams started to key up on them. You know what I mean? So they're in the scout report.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Last year they wasn't in the scout report.
Right. And I always say that too. You know, it's their second year, so you want to see your second year. You know, especially with Tyler Hero, and people can see you in the tapes out. You know what I'm saying? That's a good point. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to go against that. Let me ask you this though, before you move on from the Heat though. What you think about Jimmy though, man? Because I'm gonna tell you what, man. Like, I love Jimmy. Don't get me wrong, man. He's a dog, but I just felt like Jimmy was trying to do too much playmaking this year. I want Jimmy to go and do what he was doing in Chicago and in Minnesota, in Philly, even the first year. Where it's like, go score, bro. Go be great. Like, I don't need you to go out there and try to be LeBron. What you think about Jimmy, man?
I think the difference between Chicago Jimmy, Philly Jimmy, and even Minnesota is he had other people around him. Like Jimmy is the perfect Scottie Pippen, bro.
Yeah. He's perfect too. You're right.
He's not a number one guy. Although some nights he gives us number one numbers.
Right.
But
I agree.
he's just not it, man. We need somebody else. We need somebody else.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And that person would have been James Harden, but Pat didn't want to pull the trigger to let Hero and Robinson go. Man, I would have drove to the airport myself. We talked about it. Me and you talked about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't too keen on Harden. Just because I know he's a great basketball player, and what he's doing with Brooklyn is unbelievable, man. But at the time, the way the media was playing it,
it was tough.
At the time,
you know, I can see that.
And don't want to necessarily be down on Tyler Hero yet, but I just think he's going to be a player, man.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy because like looking at Devin Booker, you know, I always go back to that draft, you know, where we kind of got Booker and we got Winslow instead. You know, every time I see Booker, it's like I just shake my head. You know what I'm saying? I just shake my head. So that's why Pat, you know, he took the chance on that Kentucky guy, you know, just like he did with Bam. And Bam's another guy that as he continues to, you know, get more confident, he can score a lot more than he does. Like sometimes when he get the ball in the high post, he don't even look at the rim. Now he always look in the pass, but he got to start being more aggressive as well. You know
I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to knock down that 12 or 15 footer.
Yeah, for sure. And as far as the rest of the playoffs, man, what's your thoughts, man? You know, Kyrie got hurt yesterday. Milwaukee tied it up 2-2. Phoenix, you know, swept Denver. And then tonight, you know, Game 4, Clippers and Jazz. No Mike Conley again. What's your thoughts just on the rest of the playoffs?
I don't know, man. But don't sleep on Utah. That's it for me.
I agree.
I think whoever wins out of the Brooklyn-Milwaukee series, I think that's who represents the East.
What about Philly? You don't think Philly can beat Milwaukee though? Okay. I think Philly can beat Milwaukee, but I don't know about BK.
So. I don't think Philly got the weapons to beat Milwaukee. You know what I mean? Like, and what's going to hurt Philly? Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons.
That's what everybody says.
As dominant as he can be, if he really wants to, it got to click to him, man. It's not clicking for him right now. But he's going to hurt them in the long run.
Yeah, he got to start shooting the ball, man. It's not even about miss or make. He just got to start shooting and keeping the defense honest. So,
but this is the thing.
Yeah, I can see
he can shoot. That's what people don't understand.
Yeah, he can. He can. Thank you. He can. He can. That's what I don't understand. Yep, he can. I've seen his workouts.
He can shoot.
Yep.
He just won't do it.
Just won't do it. Yeah, he's gonna have to be able to keep him honest. He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to. Yeah, for sure. What's up, Boot on here, Coach Jake? What's going on? He said, "What's up to you, War?" Jake Coleman.
What's going on?
Yes, sir. But so let's go ahead and get into your journey a little bit, man. Like, you know, again, I just want to give you your flowers, man. You know, now while you can still smell it, man. Like you said, you had an excellent career, man. You know, I got to go against you, you know, your senior year, my sophomore year. So, you know, I seen it up close and personal, and I got to see, even those years before that, I got to go to those games and see what you were doing, man. So definitely wanted to have you on, man, just to, you know, talk about the journey, man, and just get into you know, some of the battles and whatnot that you went up against, man. So, you know, again, man, I appreciate you jumping on here. You know, most definitely, man. Yes, sir. But talk about growing up in Cambridge, man, and you know, where did the love of ball? When did the love of ball start for you? And was there any other sports as well?
So I think growing up, I like baseball first. I wasn't no good at it though, but I love baseball.
You like it? Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, man. Growing up in Groove, for me at first, I hated it.
Really?
I hated it, man. Because I'm originally from Baltimore.
Okay.
Yeah, so I moved to Groove maybe 4th or 5th grade.
Okay.
So it was like a culture shock for me, first of all, and then like I didn't really know a lot of people, even up until 6th grade, middle school. You know what I mean? I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't hang out with a lot of people. My mom was strict. I stayed in the house a lot. But I think it wasn't until basketball is when I started building a little bit of confidence. Because honestly, it came natural to me. You know what I mean? I'll say about 5th grade. Fifth or 6th grade is when I started playing, but it wasn't until 7th grade when it clicked.
Okay.
Yeah. So around 7th grade is when it clicked.
Okay. And you told me something too, because I didn't know you was originally from Baltimore, so now that kind of makes sense too. You know what I mean? Because I always wondered, because that height, man. When did I know your dad's tall, if I'm not mistaken. When did the growth spurt, take place? Like when did you know, like, okay, I'm gonna be taller than most cats?
7th grade. 7th grade.
7th grade. Okay.
I was probably 5th and 6th grade. I was like 5'10". I mean, still, which is kind of tall for that age. But over that summer into 7th grade, I got up to 6'4".
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
okay.
Yeah. So that's when I realized.
Okay. Yeah, that's when it clicked. Like you said, that makes sense.
Too. My mom was 5'10", 5'11" as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Definitely, man. Yeah. So it's right in the family for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And was 6th, 7th grade? Where did the love of Alonzo Mourning come in at? You know what I mean? Because I know, you're a big Miami Heat fan and a big Zoe fan. So I don't know if that started at Georgetown, that started in Miami. But talk a little bit about your love with Alonzo Mourning.
So I think the love for Alonzo Mourning honestly came from my dad.
Oh, okay.
Because growing up, I used to think he looked like my dad.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? So growing up, my dad was my hero growing up. Well, one of them anyway. And then seeing Alonzo Mourning, they looked alike. So that's what made me started watching Alonzo Mourning. And then, watching him, how he could set the tone without even scoring a basketball. That was like, I wanted to do something different. Because, growing up, everybody liked Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? He scored 25, 30, you know what I mean? But I was like, I wanted to do something else. I wanted to be different from everybody else. So watching Zoe that was it for me, man.
Okay. That makes sense too, because even when we start talking about, as we get into high school and a few, you dominated games. It wasn't about your scoring; it was about your defense. It was about the block shots, the rebound, and we'll get into that because there's a couple of questions I even want to ask you off of that too. Going back to 7th grade, going back to 7th, 8th grade. Were you playing rec ball at the time? Was it Lane? Was it talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I was playing youth league and at Mason's. Was it Mason's Lane? I think No,
okay. I think I just said
Sandy Hill.
Okay.
Yeah, playing youth league. I played with the Raiders, back-to-back champs, 7th, 8th grade. You know what I mean? That 7th grade. 7th grade was decent. It was good. It was fun.
Okay.
I had my guy Tim Jones out there with me. And Wade, you know what I mean? I had my guys out there with me. You know what I mean? And my Uncle Larry was the coach. So you know what I mean? And Uncle Larry, I gotta give him his flowers too, because he was that one. He was the one that put the battery in my back.
Okay.
He was the one the first one to let me know that I could do something with this sport. You know what I mean? Like I said, man, it came to me naturally. I was never the one to go work out. I mean, I played every day out South Pond or the nursery, but I wasn't a gym rat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never
you wasn't practicing jump hooks and right hand hook, like you wasn't doing. Okay.
None of that. But
I got you.
But 8th grade is when it clicked, where it was like, oh, I'm one of the best. I'm one of the best out here. You know what I mean?
And confidence.
That confidence. Once that confidence came, and then coming back home across the water, you know what I mean, during the summertime and playing with guys, you know what I mean, and then getting that experience, that helped a lot too.
Yeah. That makes sense now. All that makes sense. That's what I love about this Real Sports Fan Podcast. We heard Jawara Stephenson. Appreciate everybody tuning in, getting ready to get into his great high school career. Just laid the foundation work down about 7th grade and the love of Alonzo Mourning and all that good stuff. So let me ask you. So, and shout out to Uncle Larry, like you said, put the batter in your back, and like you said, confidence is half the battle. I always tell these kids, if you confident in whatever you do, whether it's sports, whether it's whatever, that's half the battle there. Talk about as you get ready to transition to high school as a freshman. Obviously, you tall people always are expecting you to do everything. They want you to score 50. They want you to grab 25 rebounds. It's just how the expectations are when they see you. Like, oh, I know you play ball. So talk about your freshman year at CSD, because you knew, you were from Baltimore. You had been there a few years, so you knew the history and the people that came before you. So talk a little bit about that.
So 9th grade, when I came over, everybody expected me, to automatically play on the varsity team. And Coach Camp actually sat me down and was like, I could play, I could be on the team, but honestly, I'm not going to get that much time. I gotta wait my turn. And
right.
And I understood that. And then also, JV, my 9th grade year was a good thing for me to get that experience. What I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
High school basketball. So I played JV, and we had a great team. And I played pretty good, but I got moved up in the playoffs to varsity.
Okay.
I only played, I think, 2 games on varsity, but
That makes sense though, because I think what Kent was doing was he was laying that foundation down, because a lot of times automatically get the varsity. Like you said, if you ain't playing, why not just get that experience on JV? You know what I'm saying, and then build yourself up for your sophomore year. And I think that was a great decision. Going into your sophomore year, Cambridge, they came off a 12-11 season, and you coming in as a sophomore, and you coming in with you got Bishop Wolford. Shout out to Bishop, who's a senior at that time. Love Bishop game.
My favorite Cambridge player of all time, man.
I want to say he's mine too. Honestly, I don't want to leave anybody out, but the reason I said it, man, I can remember playing AAU, and he was just a good dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he would, like, I was younger then. Like, so he would take time and talk to me. When you're a kid, somebody you look up to in high school, you're like, man, like, he dope. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I always respected about him. So you had Bishop, you had Keddy Minoki, catching stuff off the glass. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Minoki, shout out Minoki, you know what I mean? So what's your mindset? Yeah, I gotta say, what's your mindset going into your sophomore year? Because like, y'all got a squad. You know what I'm saying? So talk to me a little bit about your mindset going into your sophomore year.
I was nervous, man. I was in shambles, man. I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? Like you said, we had a squad, man. And then I didn't even think I was gonna start. I didn't even think I was gonna play that much. I didn't. But it was once practice and everything started, and like I said, I knew, first of all, we had Bishop, we had Kenny, we had Tay Jones, we had Monty, we had a squad. So, boy, I knew I wasn't gonna get the ball. You know what I mean?
Your role, you know what your role was gonna be.
I knew I was gonna get the ball. I knew, and it wasn't because they wasn't gonna pass the ball. I just knew, that's who the team, Bishop was the star. You know what I'm saying? So I had to find my niche. I had to get in where I fit in. And if I was going to score, I had to grab a rebound. You know what I mean? They're not gonna make every shot. So, you know, I gotta get a rebound. That's the way I was gonna score. And then also, again, that watching Alonzo Mourning, that mentality, you know what I mean? Play defense. You wanna be on the floor? Nope. Yep. I put this in my head. Nobody out here can block shots like you. Nobody out here is gonna rebound like you. Yep. Do it, and that's how you're gonna stay on the floor. And Camp told me that too. Camp said, if you want to stay on the floor, you got to play defense. You got to rebound. And that's what I did. Yeah. That's what I did. Yeah. I think I played well as a sophomore. I think I averaged like 8 and 8.
Yeah, you definitely played well as a sophomore. Because the thing about it is, and that's why it's funny that you end up falling in love with Zoe and him being your favorite player, because just like you said, you basically said it. Like, you knew, okay, my opportunities to score might not be as much my sophomore year, but how can I impact the game? I can do that by playing defense. I can do that by being a monster in the middle, by altering shots. Because, again, you blocked a lot of shots, but who knows how many shots you alter? You know what I'm saying? We don't have those stats. You know what I'm saying? Right. And rebounding and stuff like that. And like you said about Bishop led the North Bayside in scoring that year. You know what I mean? So you knew what you was going to get from him. You knew what you were going to get from Kenny. Like you said, you had Tay Jones and all those guys. So, you know, you being that cog in the middle, it was dope. Let me tell you about and I was at this game, the first Eastern Cambridge game. No, it wasn't the first Eastern Cambridge game I went to. It was the first Eastern Cambridge game in Groove I went to. Atmosphere was crazy. I don't know if you remember, but you guys jumped out on Eastern. This was obviously Soup junior year. They had Brooks Blake. He was a senior that year. Jawan Tucker, guys like that, and you guys jumped up. Big Van, yeah, big Nash. I put a couple pictures up too on Facebook. You gotta check them out later. One of you and Big Nasty too. But y'all jumped out in the first half. Eastern stormed back. I think they ended up tying it up. Maybe went up 1, and then you guys, you know, finished at the end and won 90-85. What do you remember about that first Eastern Cambridge rivalry game on varsity? Because JV is one thing. But we know ain't nothing like an Eastern Cambridge rivalry game, especially in Cambridge. So talk a little bit about that first one, man.
So I was a nervous wreck that first one because it started that summer.
Okay.
I played AU with those guys, with Bishop and them, with the older guys.
Yeah, you did.
And we went to Iowa for the Nationals.
Yeah, y'all did. Y'all was tough. Woo, y'all was tough.
So, you know, and it was a lot of Eastern on that team, you know what I mean?
It was. Y'all Bone Soup, all the Brandon Potter, y'all all those got rounds.
So, you know, it was and me and Nasty, that was my guy.
Yeah.
Big Van was my guy.
He was tough.
And we
for sure.
And we would just talk trash to each other. Man, I never forget it. We went to Burger King. Beside the hotel. And we bought 10 cheeseburgers a piece. And we just sat at McDonald's and ate them dogs. We just talked trash the whole night, man. So, you know, that friendly rivalry, you know what I mean? That's where it came. And then at the time, you know, I was skinny, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you was. I forgot how skinny you was. I started looking at some of the articles. You was, yo. You was.
I was real skinny, and Van was kind of big. So, you know what I mean? So I was nervous, you know, and I had to figure it out. I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah, and you did.
But I always played well against Eastern, without a doubt.
Yeah, you did.
All my career nights is Eastern. I don't know what it was.
And that's how it's supposed to be.
But
that's how it's supposed to be. Rivalry game, you know, the best players step up, you know, during those games. So, you know, so you guys get Eastern that first one in Groove, and then you go to Eastern. And I never forget that game too, because this is like the first time me kind of sitting back, like kind of looking and seeing how coaches make adjustments, because what Coach Heyman did, I don't know if you remember, he put Jawan on Bishop that game, and Jawan actually also was in the starting lineup. So what they did was they put Jawan at the point, moved Soup to the 2, instead of Soup being at the 1 like he was there, and then they ended up beating y'all pretty handily that game. I think it was like 99-80, something like that. So y'all split that year.
Yeah, they did about 20.
Yeah, but it was another good game. Yeah, it was another good game. And that, like you said, just the start of that rivalry, just those 2 games, and the guys that you were going against as a sophomore, all that didn't do anything but prepare you for what was getting ready to happen. You know what I'm saying? Your junior year and your senior year. You know what I'm saying? So that's what sticks out to me, even looking back at those times. Was there anybody else, before we go to your junior year? Well, I want to get to your playoffs too, but was there anybody else that stuck out to you your sophomore year, whether it was a one-on-one matchup that you looked across? Obviously, you know, the Carlton Dotsons and guys like that, or even a team that might have stuck out to you that you remember?
Listen, Carlton.
Yeah.
So my people in my ear all the time. Carlton this, Carlton that. Carlton was great. I cannot say take nothing from Carlton. Man, he's probably one of the best high school players I've seen, man. He was before his time for real.
Yeah, he was.
But you know, people should be in my ear, man. Don't let Carlton do this to you. Don't let Carlton do that to you. You know what I mean? And I wanted him. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I wanted him. You know what I'm saying? Kent would never put me on him. Kent would always put Kenny Minoki on him.
Okay.
Blackwell, you know, they had a bunch of trees out there.
Yeah.
At the time, North Dorchester. So I had to guard Bill a lot, man. But I always met Carlton at the rim. Always. Like I remember my sophomore year, we played them at North Dorchester. And I blocked this shot like 4 straight times. And that helped us win the game. And that right there was like, I might have had like 9 or 10 blocks that game.
Yeah.
I only scored 4 points. I remember that game like it was yesterday. I only scored 4 points. But I had like 9 or 10 blocks, man. And I had a lot of rebounds. But I always, like, when people came to me with like, I always try to step up to the competition. I wanted him. He was one of the people I always wanted. I really wasn't worried about too many other people, for real.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
In North Dorchester.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. And I'm glad you said Carlton, because I was also reading an article where, and I think this might have been your junior year, to where even, you know, Carlton gave you props. He was like, you know, I got to give Jawara credit. He said he's taller than me. You know, he blocked some of my shots. He altered my shots. And this might have been, I think I might have split that year. This might have been the one that the first half, he didn't do too much of nothing. Then the second half, he got going a little bit, maybe, you know, from the outside, a little bit mid-range, stuff like that. But he gave you big props. I remember reading, he gave you big props. So what you're saying is 100% true. You know what I'm saying? That you was worried about him, but he was also worried about you. So, you know what I mean? That's love. That's real recognized real.
That was my guy.
Real recognized real for sure. So, and what's crazy is about the y'all guys go into the playoffs. Y'all have a 19-5 year that year, and you actually lose to North Dorchester. I think only by like 6 points. It was a close game, man. Anything you remember about that playoff game?
We lost by 4.
4. I gotta say, I know it was good. Yeah.
That game.
And they went on to win.
They went on
to win it. Yeah.
You know what? I don't want to jump too far ahead, but you know that was a story.
Look, and you know what? Hey, it's funny you say that, because I started not to say that, because we on the same page, because your sophomore year, you lose to the eventual champs. Your junior year, you lose to the eventual champs, which is Chrisfield. Your senior year, you lose to the eventual champs, which is Snow Hill. And we'll get to them two in depth. I got especially that senior year game. That was just crazy. But that was a story. So obviously at the time it hurts. And I'm sort of sometimes thinking back. When you think back, okay, at least you lost to the champs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm gonna lose, though, at least I did lose to the eventual champs. So, you know, however that is. But you know, great sophomore year, like you said, honorable mention. People know about you now, you know, going into your junior year. Talk about that summer again, because you went to a camp, if I'm not mistaken, in Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh camp, before your junior year. Talk about how that camp propelled you into what was getting ready to be All Bayside first team as a junior.
It was another confidence booster. You know what I mean? Not only going to camp, but again, playing AU ball, with Coach Bell, he taking us to these different tournaments. And then not only playing with Coach Bell, but then my dad setting me up with certain things and certain people when I came to Baltimore for the summer. But going to these camps, man, you playing against some of the best guys, around the country, or and when I went, like I said, it was just another confidence booster. I went out there and I did my thing, and then once you go out there and you get a college coach come to you and say, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
It does something to you. You know what I mean?
It does.
It does something to you, and just another battery put in my back, man. And then also I knew that for us to have a chance,
to score more.
I had to hoop, man. I had to take that next step up. I had to.
Yeah, man. Because you knew going into that year that Bishop graduated, Kenny graduated, so I'm coming back off my sophomore year, where like you said, sophomore year, little nerves, but now you comfortable. Like you said, all these things happen. So now you go into your junior year, you got yourself, you got Tay Jones back, and then you got Mo Stubbs coming as well. So talk about how you progress from an offensive standpoint, because defensively you always were dominant. When you first stepped on the court, you were dominant. But talk a little bit about offensively, some of the things you did, to get better even on the offensive end.
Well, that was kind of Coach Bell, for real.
That's what's up.
Yeah, during AAU, he give Jawara the ball. He the biggest thing out there.
Yeah.
That was Coach Bell thing, man. Coach Bell said, give Jawara the ball. Shouldn't nobody be able to stop him. So it was that. And then my dad, he said, and Uncle Larry too. They both used to tell me I needed to develop a post game, or be able to hit a 10-foot jump shot. So in those games, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I never was a gym rat. In those games, that's what I did, especially against weaker competition. I would work on those things, and and that's what helped me. You know what I mean? I was already 6'5", 6'6", so I'm one of the tallest things on the Bayside. I'm real athletic at the time, so
you was.
I needed to add something else. You know what I mean? So that's when I got the little jump hook. I added that jump hook. And watching Zoe. That was Zoe's thing. That jab hook. Middle, hook shot. Little side step.
That's it.
Little side step from the corner, jumper. That was it for me right there.
That's it. And you're right. I mean, your scoring definitely, picked up. You guys that year, like you said, you talked about playing good against Easton. That year, you guys lost a close one in Easton by 3. Darrell hit 2 free throws. Brandon Potter hit 2 free throws. But then in Cambridge, Tay Jones had a real good game for y'all, and you had 29. And not only just 29, what I'm impressed with is 7 for 7 from the free throw line as a big man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like you said, talk about what you remember. Seriously though. Like, So what you remember about that junior year, just those 2 games against Easton? Because Easton, they had lost Brooks Blake, but they still had Darrell and they still had Bonk. Bonk, he led the Bayside scoring that year. So talk a little bit about that.
Man, shooters, man. Y'all had shooters.
Always do.
Y'all had shooters that year, man. But again, it's that friendly competition, man. And then, like I said, it's y'all. So I can't. That's the last thing I want to do is give y'all bragging rights over me. You know what I'm saying? And that first game was close, man. Like playing in Easton was a different atmosphere.
And we feel the same way about playing in Cambridge. That's what's funny.
like Like y'all gym really was the sixth man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you wasn't feeling good, y'all was gonna let us have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I want, again, it was that competition, and I wanted to step up. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because that game in Easton, we were supposed to win that game.
You had 25 that game.
Yeah,
yep.
we were supposed to win that. And then at home, we were just like, we're not gonna lose this time. And I know the base green, my guy base, man, him and June D's stepped up that game, and we went off, man. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that too. Yeah. That's dope. Because like you said, man, that rivalry is it's just like, I always try to tell people, explain it to people if you're not from Eastern Cambridge, but you can't even explain it. Like how that rivalry is, no matter win, lose, or draw. It's just the atmosphere is like none other. Like it really is. No matter the records, none of that.
It was like a mini Duke versus Carolina, man.
It really was, man. It really was. Like I tell you, it was special. So you guys, so that year, Easton, all you guys are battling. You got yourself. You got North Dorchester, still Carson still there. They're coming off the state championship. Easton, again is right there, and Easton ends up winning the North that year. They etch out North Dorchester, and then you guys go into the playoffs. And I think y'all took care of first. I think it was St. Michael's y'all took care of first, and then like we said again, you play the eventual champ in Chrisfield. And Andre Collins, and I had Dre on the podcast a couple of months back. I don't know if you got to see that, but talk about this Collins, man, and just how special that dude was, man. Just how special that dude was, yo.
Hey, in high school, I couldn't stand him, yo. I respect Dre with much love to Dre. Shout out Dre, man. But in high school, I could not stand him. And I remember that game too, man. That was a great game. We played them well.
Y'all did. Y'all lost by 15. Yeah, it was right there, but it was close though. Yeah.
But that was a hurtful 15 though, man, because we was beating them all game. My guy Tay Jones, man, he played his heart out, but his shots just wasn't falling. June D's and Wade and Mo, they actually shut Andre down for the most part of the game. I was killing Big Sherman out there.
I was just going to say that, Big Sherman. Yeah, talk about that battle with Sherman Holmes. Yeah.
I loved it.
That was battling.
Because finally, outside of the big kid from Kent, I guess Big Teagan. Outside of Big Teagan, it wasn't nobody on the Bayside my size. You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially then. So it was. I love playing against Sherman, man. Like I just love banging. And he was so much stronger than me. But I got the best of him just because of my athletic ability at the time.
You definitely did. You had 21 and 11. You had 21 and 11 that game. He had 16 and 16. So y'all went at it.
Yeah, we definitely did. But man, that damn Andre Collins, man. Like what
man.
What turned for us was they threw a lob to I think his name was Curtis.
Yeah.
He caught a lob in the fourth quarter. And he caught that lob, and it was the goddamn Andre Collins, man. He scored 28 points in the fourth quarter.
I was gonna say.
Something just lit a fire in him. And once when Dre got to going, it was nothing you can do. It was nothing you can do because he pulling up. He was Steph Curry in high school back then. He was pulling up from anywhere, and it's water. You know what I mean?
I was comparing to like a Steph or a Dame Lillard, like what I mean, the way he was.
When it was on, it was on.
Yeah,
it was on, and I think after Dre, because matter of fact, at one point, Dre scored, I want to say 9 points straight by himself. And at that moment, I think we kind of gave up. I don't want to necessarily we gave up, but our heads was down.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Because we knew what was, in our minds, we knew what was to come. You know, we knew either we stopped Dre or it's a wrap. And and that switch just was lit, man. It was nothing we could do with him. You know what I mean?
That's the thing, like he said, is that, you know, and I've seen even I think my boy Gary on here too, because I think even when they played him, like you can maybe stop him contain him for a little bit, but it's tough to stop Dre 4 quarters. Like you said, if he can go off for 30 in 1 quarter, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the work he put in he was that gym rat. You know what I mean? The work he put in was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? So So you guys lose to Chrisfield. Like you said, great junior year. You guys are in the season 16-6, and man, you catapulted yourself from honorable mention to first team, man, with averages of 17 points and 9 rebounds a game. And man, who knows how many block shots it didn't give me that, man. But I mean, how did you feel after that? 7 point. Oh, you got that? Okay, my man. 7.6. I gotta say they ain't put that in there for. I was like, where the blocks at, baby? You know what I'm saying? my bad. 7.6 blocks, man. That's crazy, man. But I mean, how did you feel though after your sophomore year? I mean, I'm sure, you know, it was more and more confidence because come on, man. I know you looking at that summer. I know you looking at your senior year like, who's left to stop me? Like, come on, be honest. Like seriously. I know you're looking at it like that, bro. So just talk to me a little bit about, you know, before you ever get to your senior year, how you was feeling.
So going into my senior year, I was on top of cloud 9, man. Honestly, like you said, I looked into, like, I'm the biggest thing out here. I'm one of the most athletic things out here. Ain't too many people out here was gonna do anything to me. Now, Pocomoke was on my radar because I knew about Terrence, big Terrence, man.
Yeah, big Terrence,
But and Why High, I knew Why High was strong. I knew I knew eventually we would have to see them one way or another.
Bayside game.
They was on my radar. I really wasn't worried about too many other people. North Carolina came out of nowhere.
They got y'all. They got y'all at first. They got y'all. Yeah. Felder, them, right?
They came out of nowhere. Didn't even. You know what I mean? But that summer, man, it did it. So playing with Coach Bell, so we make the Final Four of the AAU states.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. If we'd have won, no, we did. We made the final. No, if we'd have beat Mount Royal, we would have been in the Final Four. So we played against a Mount Royal team. Carmelo was on that team. They had a guy named Tynell. They had a guy Davon, Naldo, Kenny Minor. They had a squad.
I didn't know Melo was on that, Joe. I know y'all played against him, man.
Yeah, that team. That Mount Royal team we played against, man, was tough. They came out, they spanked us, man. They was up by like almost 30 by halftime. But me, Mo, Garen.
Yeah, Garen Moore.
And Jordan Coleman. We made a run that game, and we wound up losing by 17. I can't forget about John either. Fletch played pretty decent second half, but second half we made a comeback, and I played well against them, well enough for me to get invited to go to Florida with them. So I went to the national tournament with Mount Royal. So going to the national tournament, and man, I'm playing against Torrin Francis, Eddie Carey, Uzman Tise, A couple other guys I don't really remember, but I played well.
So I never knew that.
I murdered Torrin Francis. And
That's what's up.
he was a top recruit. Eddie Curry killed me. I'm not gonna lie.
Eddie was different, man.
He was also 330 pounds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? He killed me. But I played well over there. And then me, Mo, Ralph Doc, and Wade went to basketball camp together.
Okay.
And I won best big man. And Mo actually won best point guard. So
what camp was that? Where was that at?
That was in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
A little 5-star joint in Reading, Pennsylvania. And Nolan Richardson. Nolan Richardson came to me and was like, I like you. You know what I mean? And he said, out of his own mouth, I'll be getting in touch.
Wow.
When Nolan Richardson told me that, I said, to myself, I'm nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
like,
seriously. Yeah.
I'm really nice. So that was it for me. That was it for me. So it just, like I said, it was just another battery. Just another battery.
Yeah, another battery. I like how you put that too. Like you said, another confidence booster. I mean, anytime you got the great Nolan Richardson coming to you and telling you that, man, and again, and you doing these at these camps. So when you come back to the Eastern Shore, and like you said, you know, the Carlton Dotsons are graduated. You know, the Big Tegans, they graduated. You know, even guys that wouldn't guard you. You know, the Bulky Murrays, the Red Millers. You know, guys like that, they graduated. So, you know, you come in there pretty confident. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about a couple of things about your senior year. Now, you mentioned North Carolina. They had Felder and Elsley. And I see they kind of held you, scoring-wise, they held you to 12 points. But you still had 16 rebounds. But scoring-wise, they kind of held you. And they won that game by 5. And then y'all had a close game, actually, also against Colonel. Against John Fletch and Rodney, y'all won. Y'all ended up winning by 5, excuse me. But they held you kind of to 13. What do you remember kind of about those early games? You know what I mean? Because it seemed like they were trying to stop you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay.
Foul trouble. You know, being excited. You know, being super excited. And then, if you remember high school, if I jumped at everything. You know what I mean? I tried to block everything. You know what I mean? So it was foul trouble.
Okay. I gotta say, I remember one of them games. I think you had they gave you 3 in the first quarter or something crazy like that. I think that was a North Carolina one. So yeah. But like you said, I mean, just the dominance overall. I mean, you had 26 and 18 against Queen Anne's. You had 16 and 11 blocks against Ken Island. I mean, you just really started making your mark and putting an imprint. Before I get to the Eastern Cambridge rivalry, and of course I got to bring up that game I don't want to bring up, so we'll get to that in a second. But I first want to talk a little bit, because you were a senior when you played with D Jones, who was a freshman. Man, talk about how good D was, man, as a freshman, bro. As a freshman,
D Jones was special. D Jones was really good.
He was.
I don't even know if D Jones know how good he was, man.
I agree. We always told him that. Richard used to always tell him that. Richard, he don't even know how good he is. I don't know if he ever. Yeah, I'm with you. Yep.
D Jones was nice, man. I honestly love playing with D Jones, man, because he came in the game, and one thing I can say about D Jones, he was never lazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He came in and he played ball. You know what I mean?
He did. And he knew he played his role.
And it was a couple games where D Jones, and even as a freshman, understood that he was one of the best players on the floor.
He did. Yeah. One of the articles, I put one of the articles up with you and him I can't remember who it was, but it was Jones and Stephenson, lead CSD pass such and such. Yeah.
Yeah, he. If I will say this, Jones, D. Jones should have started.
I'm glad you said. Hey,
I'm
you would
not
know.
gonna sit here and lie.
We talked about that today. I went and worked out with Todd Johnson. Then he was saying the same thing. So I'm glad you said the same thing too. You know what I mean?
But I understand to the point where you know what I mean. You gotta earn.
Second order.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But he should have been. But he played a lot of minutes though. So
yeah, he did.
But D. Jones was nice, man.
Yeah.
D. Jones.
Yeah, and the game I was talking about was North Dorchester too. That was the game I was talking about. You had 13-9. He had 14. Stubbs had 11-5. You know what I'm saying? Y'all won 81-58. But yeah, I mean, what you're saying, you're just echoing, you know, so much of what I know and what a lot of people know, and you know, you guys. I'm jumping a little bit, then I'm gonna jump back. But you guys obviously ended up winning the Bayside that year, and that was his first of 4 straight. Bayside, they won 4 straight. Even though we should have had one, they robbed us of. But you know, what I mean, my senior year, his junior year.
And that was the first time. And that was the first time Cambridge had won the Bayside since Haney and them.
Thank you. I was gonna say it too since '96. Yeah, I'm glad you said that too. That was a big deal. I meant to put that article up too, but yeah, that was a big deal because you're right. That was the first one that y'all won in about 5 years, so that was definitely a big deal. That was definitely a big deal.
People don't know that because people don't understand playing at Cambridge, man. You know, Coach Camper, you know, what I mean, he had a thing where we not hanging up Bayside banners.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you know that wasn't the ultimate goal for us. To him and to anybody from Cambridge or whoever played at Cambridge, you know, we had the mindset that we should have done that every year anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, we definitely was the first team in a long time to do that.
Yeah, y'all definitely was. So let's talk about the Eastern Cambridge rivalry your senior year. Sophomore year you split. Junior year you split. So the first one, and this was how we got messed up the second game. But I want to talk about this first game first in Cambridge. And man, I'm gonna tell you, man. So just how you was as a sophomore, you know, I was kind of like that as a sophomore. It was just like, wow, I'm finally a part of this rivalry. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never forget going to see our gym, just walking in there, and just like you could just feel like the atmosphere was just crazy. Like it was just I can't even say, it was just crazy. So I don't know if you remember, man, but in Cambridge, man, we played y'all great. No, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if we were young and we just didn't realize the moment, but at halftime we were only down 8. Me and Casey both had 10 apiece, so we could buy for 20. Y'all was up 35-27, and then I think y'all broke away in that third. We kind of got back in it, but it was just too late. Y'all ended up beating us by 9, 80-71. That first. What do you remember about that first in the East, and anything else besides that?
I remember. So I remember we did break away.
First one in Cambridge. I might say East. First one in Cambridge. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. We. That was. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Mac went crazy in the second half.
Yeah, Mac had a good game. Stubbs had 23. Golly, he's fast, man. Stubbs is so quick with that ball, man. You know what I'm saying? And you had 18 and 15 with 6 blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I ain't play the fourth quarter. I used to hate
you didn't play a lot of fourth quarter. I guess so. We're gonna talk about that 1,000. Yeah, because look, I was always for the last few. Well, I ain't gonna say the last few years, but right out of high school, I always said that I was like 40-some points shy from 1,000, right? And it was a couple of games that either, like you said, we sat in the fourth, or it was also 2 games my senior year that they didn't make up. But then I heard you a couple of years ago say I think you was like 7 or 8 points shy. Am I
11.
right?
I was 11.
11. When I heard you say that, I said, you know what? I can't complain no more. I said I'm mad at 40-something points. You was 11 and setting out quarter, so I know you was like, man.
And just think about it. My sophomore year, we was 20-something and 4.
Yeah.
I think my sophomore year, I don't think I ever played.
Fourth quarter, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, y'all blowing cats out on a regular.
My junior year, when we played teams like St. Michael's, Queen Anne's, St. Peter and Paul a few times, not too many, but a few times. Mardella. I didn't play after halftime. You know what I mean? It was like in my senior year, same thing. You know what I mean? So man, I could have had 1,300 points. You know what I mean? And I can't say Coach Kent. He said to me one day, I should have played. I shouldn't have did that to y'all. You know what I mean? But at the same
you're not thinking about it at the time, yeah. As a coach, you know, they're not thinking about it, yeah.
At the time, I understand. You know why players. We already up 15, 20, 25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the possibility of us getting hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, being a competitor and honestly wanting to read your name in the Daily Banner the next day. Of course, you're like, I want to play, but you know, as you get older, you start to understand that. But then I want to play.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is.
And you know, though, to your credit, though, you saying that is factual, because I never forget Cam, my senior year, he played Jones when they were blowing the team out, and that's how Jones got hurt, and he was out for like weeks. So I mean, you never know. Like as a coach, you know, you got to play it safe. So you know, obviously we want to be in there, but we understand it. So so Easton Cambridge in Easton, my sophomore year. The most embarrassing loss of my career, and let me tell you what's crazy about this game. Now, for everybody listening, we lost by 52. It's not even about that we lost by 52. We only scored 30. It was 82 to 30, right? But this is what happened, bro. I'm gonna give you a couple scenarios, and this is why this happened. Now, we were actually playing better before we played y'all the second time than we was that first time. We really was. Like, we had just came off, and that's why I think this messed us up. We had won, I want to say, like 6 of our last 7. But y'all was on like a 10-game, 11-game win streak, though. But I think that it was kind of a little fool's gold, because I feel like, and I can remember having this conversation, we're like, well, look, we only lost by 9 in Cambridge. So, hey, they coming to Easton now. Like, you know, we young, you know, we not, you know, we don't know nothing about the right. We thinking like, hey, we good. So I never forget, right? First play of the game, I get the ball, go on the left baseline, you there. I throw that floater up. Bam, score. 2-0. We up 2-0. Let's go. Man, after that, next thing I know, go to the back, block. Next time I go block. And I remember coach saying, why you don't throw the floater back? I'm like, I'm trying to throw it up. What you want to throw from the 3-point line? You know what I'm saying? So next thing I know, it go from 2-0 Easton to 15-4 Cambridge to 33-11 at the half. And you think about the half, we only down 22 at the half, but we only scored 11 points. And just as kids, we just kind of mentally checked out, man. We started throwing lobs, and we just started just doing dumb stuff, man. But man, what you remember about that thrashing, man? Besides that picture of us in the paper.
Y'all was tripping that game. I don't know.
We were tripping, y'all. We were tripping.
Honestly, so my senior year, we had a big problem of sometimes playing down to the competition. You know what I mean? We, in our minds, we knew to a certain extent that we was the better team, or we was the superior team, or whatever. But sometimes, you know, we took nights off, which hurt us. Will hurt us in the end a little bit. And also, sometimes we did that so we could play. We wanted to play. You know what I mean? So we come out in the water. You know what I mean? And we let y'all think y'all could swim in the deep end with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We gave y'all
That's what happened.
We gave
y'all did.
You know what I mean?
Y'all did.
So Camp actually told us, listen, if y'all don't come out here and play, I'm gonna sit your ass down. You know what I mean? And we was like, all right, let's get him. And then y'all already thought that y'all was talking trash in the warm-ups.
Yeah, it was.
And then you had your guys on the sideline talking trash to y'all. And you know, it was just like, all right, let's go ahead and blow these guys out the water. You know what I mean? Let's get this shit over. Excuse my language.
Yeah, no, you good. Yeah, that's what happened.
And that's what it was.
That's what happened. Yeah. Like I said, man, I just knew we was getting ready to be. Like I said, I mean, I come first play Florida. I led us to score in that game with 7 points. That's how bad it was. I led us with 7 points. That's how bad it was. But man, it was crazy, man. But I was so glad to get that one behind us. But y'all was down it, man. I mean, y'all were clearly, like you said, y'all were clearly the better team. I mean, with you and Stubbs, just y'all two, man. We didn't have anybody as dominant as y'all two, you know, at that time, you know, and the experience that you guys had. Let me ask you, man, how many triple doubles do you think you had in your career?
Oh shit! My senior year, I damn near averaged one.
Yeah. Because every time I would just wonder. I mean, I don't have that stat, but like I'm looking at, you know, I was looking some stuff up, and I mean, you had 24, 12, and 10 against North Dorchester. You had 26, 11, and 10 against Queen. I mean, so I just imagine like how many you had that we don't even know about. You know what I'm saying? I was just curious.
I know. My sophomore year, I had one. I had one my sophomore year, and that was crazy because my sophomore year, like, they wasn't even counting the blocks. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
My freshman year, I had a lot in my freshman year too, but that's JV. Don't really care.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But my junior year, I had 7.
Mm-hmm.
And my first one was against Colonel. I had 21. I had 21 points, 22 rebounds, and 11 blocks against Colonel.
Yeah.
And that was my first triple double.
Mm-hmm.
But my senior year, sheesh, man, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It was crazy. You were dominant, man. Like,
because my senior, I averaged 8.9 blocks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yep. So I don't know.
Yeah. I was just wondering, because like you said, I mean, every time I looked, I mean, you was definitely close to double digit blocks. And the thing about it is, like, and I want to go back a second about something you said earlier, which is true. You were, for anybody who didn't see you play, you were a very athletic big. Like you said, you wasn't that big to where, you know, you just throw it in the post and all you do. You know, you wasn't a big nasty type of player. You know what I'm saying? Right. You could get out and run the floor and that. And I played with a great shot blocker and Derek Cannon my senior year, who was 6'8". But he didn't get out and run like you on the offensive end. But he you know, I never forget, he had a triple double against Colonel. It's funny you said that. His first triple double was against Colonel too, with blocks. So that's what made me think about that. But you definitely were a very athletic big. And I never forget, man, you guys won the Bayside. And one thing I will give credit to the North about is we stick together. And I never forget, man, going down to the Civic Center, and man, we was rooting for y'all. I remember me, Fletch, all of us, man. We was down there, like, you know what I mean? We was rooting for you guys, and you guys had it. You guys, I think you guys lost 47-42. But what you remember about that Bayside game against Waha?
So what happened against Waha, man? You're right. I remember 47-42.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I know everybody remember the iconic goggles that I used to wear.
Yeah, yes, sir. Got auction them off, man. Where they at?
So what happened at I left my goggles. I couldn't see.
Wow. Oh yeah, that's crazy.
I left my
right.
Goggles. They wasn't a better team than us.
How you do that though, bro? How you leave your goggles though?
I don't even remember. I want to say messing around with some females or something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It was some stupid reason.
Yeah, it's all great. Yeah.
But I had messed around and left my goggles in the gym because when we got back, when I went to school the next day, my goggles was sitting in the bleachers.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I left them. I left my goggles, man. And if I'd have had my goggles, it'd have been a different story. I just couldn't see. I'm just keeping it.
Yeah, I know. I'm a guy that I wore contacts playing, so
Yeah.
I can't see nothing without them. So no, if anybody know what you mean, I know. And the fact that you only lost about 5 points and you couldn't see out there, so like you said, you know.
Yeah.
But while I was
always
tough.
If I'm not mistaken, I had like 7 points that game. I had like 7 points and like 11 rebounds or something like that. But yeah, I just couldn't see.
That's like you said, that's what that was. And you know, Waha, you know, at the time, you know, they got guys like, you know, Bubby Brown and Kyle Camper and Michael Mitchell, guys like that. So it was a tough team as well. But you guys definitely, because I remember being there, like you guys had them. So I appreciate you sharing that. Now going to I tell you, man, I completely forgot about this game until I was reading about it. Now, you guys, you know, did your thing in the playoffs, beat a couple teams. I don't know if it was North Carolina or North Dorchester. Yeah, it was North Dorchester because Stubbs had 19 to lead y'all, and you had 24 and 12 and 10. Snow Hill, I completely forgot how that game ended, and you know.
You talking about the playoff
you correct
game?
me if I'm talking about the playoff game when Tony Harmon hit the shot. But tell me this: when he hit the shot, the clock didn't start on time. Am I right? Tell me what happened with that, man. Yeah, tell me what happened because you were down south again. We know how that go down south sometimes. All my South brothers, I love y'all, but that's how it be sometimes down there, man. Talk to me.
So I'm gonna give you the last 2 minutes of the game.
Okay.
In a nutshell. I forgot the little guard name. I used to call him Kenny Satterfield because he reminded me of Kenny Satterfield. He came down with this layup. I blocked the layup.
I think it was the other Harmon. I think it was Jarrell Harmon.
Okay. Mo. So I blocked the shot. Mo got the ball. He went, got to the half court line. They called a foul. That was my 5th foul. I fouled out. And then if I'm not mistaken, I think Little Charlie Pink hit a couple free throws. And then I think I don't even remember. I just know this. Tony Harmon got the ball. We was in the time. Well, let's say the timeout. We was in the timeout. Mac asked Coach Camp, "Do you want me to get back?" Coach Campbell said no. He's not going to hit that shot.
Oh man.
Yeah, said, no, he's not going to hit that shot. It was 1 second on the clock.
Yeah, it was.
Tony Harmon got the ball, took 2 dribbles, let it go. It went in.
Oh my God.
So of course he made it. We like it don't count.
Don't count. You can't dribble 2 times and shoot with 1 second.
It don't count. We win. We thinking we won.
Right.
The referee called good basket. All I know is, we all just dropped to the. I remember me and Mo just dropped to the floor and cried because that was our year.
That's a hurt feeling.
And I'm not gonna lie, that shit. I'm sorry, excuse my language. That still stings to this day.
I bet.
To this day. Because I feel like that game was stolen from us. That was our year. That was our year.
It was because then they ended up winning. They ended up winning the state. Yeah.
Yeah, and they won convincingly too.
You know what I mean? They did. Yeah.
Yeah. And shout out to my boy Buddy. That was my guy, man. But they wasn't better than us, man. They wasn't. And they stole one in Cambridge too, beginning of the year too.
Did they? Oh, did they?
Yeah, they stole one at home. I think it was the first game of the season. If I'm not mistaken,
yeah.
they beat us by 4 points. But
and yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. And I don't think it was Pinkett that hit the free throws. I actually think it was Stubbs. I think he actually hit 2. But
I think they both hit free throws at the end.
They both hit free throws. Okay.
Yeah, I think
okay.
They both. Yeah.
But you know what's crazy about that game, though? Not to bring up, old memories. We already there, but Tony Harmon got to the free throw line 18 times, right?
Yeah.
18 times. He got to the free throw line 18 times. Y'all as a team only got there 10. They shot as a team 36 free throws, yo. 36 in high school. That's crazy.
They was calling everything.
That's crazy. 36 free throws. Wow.
And on top of that, the whole third quarter, I didn't even play the whole third quarter because I was in foul trouble. I had 3 fouls before the half. I mean, when I tell you they was calling everything, they was calling everything.
Yeah. Oh, I can tell. It definitely was.
No calls. We wasn't getting none.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
Jones had a good game that game too.
Yeah, I remember one time Mo went to the couple times Mo got to the basket and was getting clothesline. You know what I mean? And wasn't getting nothing. No calls.
That's crazy.
But they went to the other end and they was calling all kinds of reaches and everything. And it was just
Yeah. That's how I go.
It was either whether it was the refs or you know what I mean, like that game was stolen from us, man. That game was stolen.
Yeah, it was.
That game.
It was. But man, yeah, and it makes sense now that you said that the mistake that Kent made, telling Matt not to get back, because even in his response after the game, he didn't put on himself, but he kind of said that, he kind of did in a sense. He kind of said that, all my kids are healthy, I'm happy about the performance, but he know that he messed that one up. Yeah, he messed that one up. But I know that still hurts. But man, you guys had a great year, like you said, 18-4 record. Like you said, 1A East Regional. Had a chance to get there, and then man, Player of the Year, man. I'm not gonna ask you if you knew you was gonna be Player of the Year, but I'm pretty sure you had to know as dominant as he was. I mean, 18 points, 13 rebounds. Like you said, probably 8 non-blocks a game. Talk about just how you felt, man, just after that historic year and to cap off your high school career.
I felt good, man. I did. I felt good because what a lot of people don't know is after getting that Player of the Year trophy, me and Mo got invited to play in the Capital Classic.
Oh wow! Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not in the big game, but in the the little small game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that did something as far as confidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But something happened with transportation, and we wasn't able to make the practices and stuff in DC. So our spots got taken. But I mean, man, it was
dope.
That was dope, man. I loved it, man.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Dope.
But
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was bittersweet though. And the bitter part was I had signed to go to Drexel.
I was gonna ask you about that. Okay.
Yeah, I had signed to go to Drexel the next year, my freshman year, but Bruiser Flint had got the job. So the whole coaching staff had got fired prior.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's when Bruiser Flint came in and he became the coach at Drexel. And they rescinded my scholarship. So that was the bitter part because at that point, at the time, it was too late. You know what I mean? I didn't know what else to do next. You know what I mean? So I was caught in I guess, a tailspin on what I was going to do after high school.
Yeah.
So although I had all these accolades and I was ranked 23 in the state of Maryland. I was ranked in the top 500 nationally. It took a toll because what's next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, because I was going to ask you, because I know you ended up going to Wesley. If I'm not mistaken. Talk a little bit about, that. Thanks for sharing about the Drexel experience, because I wasn't 100% sure about that. But talk about Wesley and what came from that and what came after that.
Yeah. So like I said, I was supposed to go to Drexel. Then they rescinded my scholarship. So like I said, I was in the tailspin. Got down on myself, a little depressed. At the time when they put the rankings out, when they put the Maryland State rankings out, like I said, I was 23, and the ranking said, Jawara Stephenson, number 23. I'll never forget this. It said King triple double, force on the Eastern Shore at Cambridge South Dorchester, suspected to go to Cecil County Community College. I don't know where that came from. Honestly, I had one meeting with the coach from Cecil. I never said that I was going there. Actually, my mom told him he's not coming because, I had to pay rent. My mom like, I'm not paying rent.
Yeah. I'm with you. Mm-hmm.
At the time, I wish I was more knowledgeable about the JUCO system. I wasn't knowledgeable at all. And then my thing was, I had to leave. I didn't want to stay in Groove. I didn't want to go to JUCO because I just felt like, at the time, I thought it was like the bottom of the barrel of basketball in college.
Yeah, we didn't know. Yeah,
I didn't know. So I just wanted to go somewhere. So I wound up going to Wesley. Went to Wesley. I started off on the bench. And we had Johnny Woods. We had a center named Johnny Woods. When I tell you he was just as good or maybe a better shot blocker than I was. 6'7". He wasn't super athletic, but he was an athletic guy. We scrimmaged. My coming out party is we scrimmaged. I don't remember what team we scrimmaged. I want to say Villa Julie, if I'm not mistaken, at the time, Villa Julie. And I came off the bench and I scored 38 points off the bench. And granted, it was D3, but a lot of people don't understand. It's a lot of competition.
It's competition, man. That's the college ball. It don't matter. Yeah.
I came off and scored, like I said, scored those points, and they put me in the starting five. So I started. I averaged 14 and 9 my freshman year. I was second to the guy from Gwinnett Mercy College. His name was Bob Duguay for Rookie of the Year. We had the same numbers. Honestly, the same exact numbers. Except for I averaged more blocks than him, but his team had a better record.
That's what they gave them. Yeah.
So he got the conference Rookie of the Year. As a freshman, I was third in the nation. D1, D2, D3 in block shots. I averaged 4 games.
Wow.
My team, we had a lot of talent on that team. Our coach just didn't know how to put it together. I think we won. I think we won like 10 or 12 games. You know what I mean? So that's where it ended my freshman year. I wasn't able to finish out there because it was just expensive. It was a
Wesley,
no scholarships. You know what I mean? And I owed $10,000 before I could even register for the next year. So I didn't have the money. Fell down from the wayside. You know what I mean? Didn't go to school no more. I kind of was out of school for like a year. Then the coach from Mount Royal, that's the AU team, Mount Royal. He took a job at Edward Waters College in Jacksonville, Florida. It was an NAIA school. And you know, I went. He sold me a dream. He sold me a dream. He said, you know, you come down here, we'll give you a scholarship. You know, you'll play, and you know, you'll be happy. You're happy to have after. I went down there. I went there a year later. I was out of school for a year. Then I went down to Jacksonville. Yeah. When I get down there, come to find out he's not even on the coaching staff.
Oh man, what?
Nah.
Not even on the coaching staff.
He's the activity coordinator for the school, Coach Todd Moore.
Great.
Good guy, but he sold me a dream. I get down there, the coach was like, you know, we don't have no scholarship money to give you. You got a red shirt. I red shirt, but I don't last the semester. I finish out the one semester and I come home. It was just a bad situation. Best year academically. Best, you know what I'm saying? But as far as everything else, it was just a bad situation. Came home. That was around that time is when my mom started going downhill. I mean, as far as health wise. So I get a call from a guy that I had played in a tournament. Guy named Pat Crawford. He had started a little team. A guys, you know what I mean? Most of the team was from DC. But he put me on his team. I played well. I got a guy from guy saw me in this tournament in Hackensack, New Jersey. I made the all-star team in this tournament, and they called me Mr. 77. The reason why they called me that is because I had 77 points. This is bananas. 77 points, 77 rebounds, and 77 blocks.
Oh, that's crazy, yo. That's crazy. Wow. Wow.
So, I had got a call from this guy, and I told him I wasn't in school, and he was like, you know, well, I got an opportunity. If you want, you come to Germany. So, I was getting ready to go to Germany. It's gonna give me $3,500 a month to go to Germany. You know, I ran it by my mom, my grandma at the time. My grandma was like, God rest her soul. My mom, like I said, my mom was going downhill, so she was like, you know, I need help with your mother. I can't do this by myself. And I had better plans for you. I wanted you to finish school, blah, blah, blah. So I said, you know, I love my grandma. I had the highest, most respect for my grandma. So I abide by her wishes. You know, I didn't go, which I regret now. I didn't go, so I got an opportunity out of nowhere to go to Frederick. I don't even know where they came from.
That's what I thought it was Frederick. I was trying to think. Yeah. Okay.
I don't even know where they came from, but Frederick came out of the blue.
Okay.
I went down to Frederick, and the rest is history. You know what I mean? I went down there. I had a great year, man. That's probably the best. That's probably the best basketball team I played on.
Wow.
We was 28-4, 7th in the nation in junior college. We were 2nd in the Maryland JUCO to Cecil. That team broke hella school records. I actually broke the shot blocking record.
Wow.
Which I still hold to this day.
That's what's up for the season block record.
Season and career.
God, that's dope, man. Yeah, that's dope.
I got game, season, and career record. I still hold that to this day, man. We had a great team, man. After that, you know what I mean? I signed to go to Holy Family University, which was a D2 school in Philly. I got up there to Philly. I had the grade point average, but I didn't have the credits. Okay. So I had to sit out again another year. Went to CCBC here in Baltimore, summer school, and I think winter. Well, I'm sorry, fall. Summer and fall. Got my credits together the following year. I went up to Holy Family. Got up there my junior year. We sucked. I'm gonna keep it a buck. We sucked. We had a great team, but we sucked, man. Also, at that time, I'm 24. I'm not 20. I'm 25 years old now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of burnt out at this point because life has hit. You know what I mean? I'm dealing with my mother.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with my mom. At the time, you know, I was dealing with a girl. She had a baby. I thought it was mine. You know what I'm saying? So I'm dealing with that situation. So I'm trying to be a father as well. Yeah. Baby turned out not to be mine, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But you know, I'm just dealing with, you know, life at this point.
Life. Yeah, life.
So I'm kind of burnt out with basketball. But at the same time, I'm physically burnt out, but mentally I still love the game. On top of that, my coach Alfred Johnson, which was a great guy, man. I love him to death. He never gave up on me, man. One of the people, he actually recruited me in high school, but I just didn't want to go to I just didn't want to go to the school he was at.
Right.
And you know, he always checked on me. He never gave up on me, man. And I just fell into his lap, you know what I mean? And he gave me that opportunity, you know what I mean? So I felt like at this point I owed him. But he didn't let me go.
Okay.
Great coach, man. Great guy, man. Loving it, but he just didn't let me go. He didn't allow me to play my game.
Play a game, yeah.
Yeah, and it hurt me, and I felt like it hurt us as a team as well. Because the games that he allowed me to play my game, we did well, and I did well, and we did well as a team. I'll never forget, we had a scrimmage against Princeton in the preseason, and he allowed me to play. Gave me the ball, he said, go. And I murdered him.
Like, why can't you give me this the whole time? That's what I've been wanting right here.
You know, and then we had a game later on that season against Virginia State. We actually played them tough, man. They wound up beating us, but that was another game. That was one of my better games at Holy Family. I had like 18 and 12. But again, he let me go. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. So I played well my junior year. I averaged like 9 and 9. You know what I mean? And I started half of the year. Half the year I came off the bench, 6-man. Then that year, that's the year my mom passed. So
a lot of adversity.
You're right. My mom passed, so I quit. Stopped going to school. I was stressed out, man. You know.
Yeah.
I lost my scholarship,
sure,
so I had to fight back to get it. You know what I mean? Which, you know, I eventually got it back. And I was able to play my senior year. So I played one game my senior year. I never forget it. I scored 7 points, 7 rebounds. I had 4 blocks my first game back. I played like 19 minutes. So played another game against Kutztown College. And they were just hacking me. They couldn't stop me. They just kept hacking me. And I got frustrated, man. And I was already angry because I still wasn't over the death of my mom.
Yeah.
I'm a psycho. Like, I don't know if Joe Hampton, the guy from that was me then. I was Joe Hampton then. Because, you know, my life had hit. I'm older than everybody. I'm better than everybody. But I'm in my way. I'm in my own way.
Dream, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I get into a little small scuffle with the guy. And after the game, I get suspended because I don't want to shake hands. I get suspended 2 games. So I come back, come to practice. My teammate breaks my face.
Oh, man.
Caught an elbow. I had to get reconstructive surgery on my nose. So I missed my whole senior season. And I played senior night. I played the last game of the season, man. Played decent. Got to play in a small college all-star game. And, you know, I had got a decent amount of time there, got a decent look. And I got invited to a showcase at the Mello Center here in Baltimore.
Okay.
Played well. Got offered a job with in the ABA with the Chattanooga Royal. So when the season was supposed to start, the team folded. They lost all the funding. So
boy.
I'm left out of that. So then I get a call in November, right before Thanksgiving, to go to Canada.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't afford a plane ticket. So at the time, you know, I'm raffling around asking friends, family for $1,900, you know, so I could get this plane ticket to go. They was gonna cover everything else. I just had to get there.
Had to get there.
Couldn't get there, man. Couldn't get there. So that fell by the wayside. Then life hits again. Found out the little girl's not mine. Another stressful situation. Then I say like 6 months later, one of my teammates from Frederick, he calls me, "Hey, I got a spot for you here in Mexico. We need a big. Are you in shape?" I lied like shit.
I gotta say, yeah, I'm in shape.
Yeah, I'm in shape.
I'll get in shape. I'm coming. Yeah.
I go down to Mexico. Man. I'm down there for a couple weeks, man.
How was that?
It was cool, man. It was a great experience, man. It was hard because we played on concrete. We played outside. It was hot. You know what I mean?
Knees, hard on the knees. Ooh, man, my knees hurt thinking about it.
So I played well defensively. Offensively, I suck. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. You know what I mean? But the coach at the time told me that I had played well enough to get a contract to come back.
Oh, okay.
So when it was time to get my contract, you know what I mean, to come back, they was telling me that they wanted me to come, but they wanted me to take less money. So they was only giving me $1,800 from the jump. So they was like, you know, we need to take half of that. You know what I mean? Because apparently it was a guy the other guy was from Mexico. He was a shooter. He was supposed to have been like one of the best players to come, top 5 players in Mexico. And they wanted him. You know, they said I could still come if I take the 900. But they really wanted him. They could do without me.
They really wanted him. They wanted him.
So, I'm like, nah, I'm not about to come in for $900. By this time,
I don't blame you on that one.
And then by this time, I'm married now, got a son. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, and shout out to my wife. You know what I mean? She was supportive. You know what I mean? She knew that was my dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it mean a lot. It mean a lot for sure.
But it just didn't work out. So then, about a year later, one of the coaches that coached against me called me and was like, "Are you in shape?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Come on."
You lie again?
By this time, I'm in better shape because I've been playing
in I got you. Yeah.
And everything. I go down there, I play well, but I wasn't getting paid. I mean, I got paid, but I had to beg for my money. You know what I mean? Like, they wasn't trying to pay. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, nah, bro. Like, I'm going fuck home. I'm going home.
He said, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Yeah.
I
forget that.
I shouldn't have to beg you for my money. Like, give me my bread.
Exactly. It's my money. It's my money. Right.
Right. So it wasn't trying to pay me. So I went back home, man. So went back home. I had an opportunity to go to Belize and play in a couple tournaments that actually paid well. I loved it there. And then I came home, man. That was it for me. That was it. And then around 2016, I got one more call. Come back down to Mexico. Yeah, I got one more call. Come back down to Mexico. So it was like a couple tournaments going on. So I got down there. I was down there for like 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, and wound up winning the championship. Got a little bit of bread.
Can always use a big, man. That's the one thing about a big. Can always use a big. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know, and then I was just like, I got offered to come back. I got actually offered a contract, but by this time I'm burnt out. By this time, it's 2016, so I'm 33 years old, man.
The journey, man.
Yeah, and I'm like, life. It was just life, man. So many things going on, and I just didn't have it in me no more physically and mentally. I just didn't want to play. You know what I mean? But
if you think about it, though, like again, you talking about at 33, bro. Like I'm sitting here listening to your story, and you saying you should have been burned out at that point. Like to me, it's amazing. Like the fact that all the adversity, all the roadblocks, all the hurdles, and you continue to jump over those hurdles. You continue to move stuff out your way. You continue to go forward, even though you might got knocked back a couple of times, or you got, like D-Wade said, D-Wade fall down 7, get up 8. You got up that 8th time. You kept getting up, man. Like to me, man, that's an amazing story, man. And for people that is listening, people that's going to listen, and even for like kids and stuff like that, man. Honestly, like it's something inspirational. The fact that you were sold a dream, in one instance where it wasn't. You were told to go to this school even though the coach was let go, like, but you still kept fighting, man, and like that's dope. Like real talk, bro. Real talk. That's dope, man. That's dope. I think, so you got
I think for me, I just always had the mindset I wanted to make it. I wanted to do something. You know what I mean? Like no knock to anybody from Groove, man, but coming up in Groove and growing up in Groove, we had that stigma where we had a bunch of great athletes, but nobody went anywhere. You know what I mean? Or
you're right.
Did nothing after. You know what I mean? And I just didn't. And not saying that that those guys' situations wasn't worse than mine, or you know what I mean, or not even to knock those guys, but I just didn't want to be one of those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you determined.
I wanted to fight through, man, and I wanted to, do something else. I mean, granted, it didn't go like I wanted. You know what I'm saying? But I was able to play professional basketball multiple times. I was able to finally graduate from college and get a degree. You know what I mean? So, I mean, those things, that adversity set me up. For me, for me to be where I'm at now. You know what I mean? So
it did.
Yeah. So most people, most people use that as a crutch, but me, I use that as a push, man, and it
exactly,
and it helped me. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate the struggle. You know what I mean? And shout out to everybody that was with me during the struggle and helped me, man. For sure.
Yeah, that's a dope story, man. Like you said, man, like you've been through so much, man. Like even like you said that, the passing of your mom, and you still kept going and kept fighting, and this is an inspirational story for me. Like you even opened me up to stuff I didn't even know about, like stuff I was wondering, because I knew you was at Frederick. I remember that, you know what I mean? But I knew you had some other journeys along the way. So like to hear your story, man, like you can hold your head up proud and like.
Definitely.
I did, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, definitely. Like I did it. Like to be able to still have people call you in your early 30s, telling you to come and get this bread. Like we ain't had it, man. That's dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, man, that's dope, man. I salute you, man. Like real talk.
Real talk,
man. Yeah, I salute you, man. The journey is dope, and the story, man. That's what it's all about, man. Real Sports Fan Podcast, hearing stories, about what people been through and how. Like I said, they might have got knocked down, but they got back up, man. So, like, for real, that's dope. That's dope, man. So, before I get you out of here, man, I want to give you a couple of quick hitters. A couple of things just come to my mind, man. Just give me, first thing you think about, and I'm gonna get you out of here in the next few minutes before 9. First and foremost, I think I know the answer to this one, but I might not, because you have played in a lot of other leagues and stuff like that. But your toughest competitor that you had to go against, could be any league, don't gotta be high school, toughest competitor that you played against. Yeah, I know it's tough. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit.
That I played against.
Yeah.
Usman Cisse.
Okay.
Probably the best high school basketball player I've ever seen.
Wow.
I've ever seen. Like a lot of people don't know who he is, but this guy was the best player in the class of 2001. He got hurt towards ACL senior year, and he just wasn't the same after that.
Oh wow!
But he was 6'8".
What high school did he go to?
He was from Alabama, man.
Oh, okay. Wow.
African kid came over here from Alabama.
Yeah.
In high school, listen to this: 6'9", 245, solid muscle. Ran the floor like a deer. Had like a 43-inch vertical. Was strong as an ox.
Ooh.
Man, yeah, man.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Toughest person I've ever seen and played against.
That's crazy. Your next one. Your best game. What's the best game you consider that you had? And for this one, I'm gonna stick to high school. Your best high school game.
Probably Seaford. It was my senior year. Okay. I had either 39 or 41. And the majority of those points was dunks.
That's another thing. We talking about the blocks. We ain't talking about the dunks. We ain't talking about all the dunks you had, man. My God.
When I tell you Mo and Matt, matter of fact, I don't even think it was a real game. I think it was a scrimmage. For real. But Mo and Matt, they were just throwing them things off the backboard all game, man. I was just catching them, John.
Hey, that's dope.
That might was a scrimmage. So, but if I had to say a real game, I would have to say High, my sophomore year.
Okay. Sophomore year. Okay.
They was the better. They were supposedly had been the better team that year. They had a really good team, but my defense kind of helped us propel the win. I only had 10 points, but I had like 14 rebounds and.
Oh yeah, I know what game you're talking about. Yeah, you did. You had 14 rebounds. Because Bishop had 39 that game.
Yep,
I know exactly what you're talking. He had 39 that game. Yep. That was, you did have a great game.
That probably was my best game. Yeah.
That's what's up. Got two more for you. Since you played in basically 3 eras of Cambridge, and it's not necessarily eras, but 3 teams of Cambridge, you and 4 other guys from either your sophomore, junior, senior. You played a lot of different guys. I know. So give me you and 4 others. I'm taking a little bit from all the smoke on this one. You and 4 others that you played with.
First pick, Bishop, all day. First pick is Bishop. Second pick, Malcolm. That's one of my favorite teammates of all time, man.
Yeah, Mac's underrated, man.
Very underrated, man. A real, a great all-around player, man. Another one who was better than people thought, and who I don't believe knew how good he was.
Yeah. People forget he made first team Bayside his senior year. People forget that he made first team.
That was a beast, man. He was a facilitator. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna say Bishop, Malcolm. I'm gonna say Mo, just because me and Mo been to war together.
That 1-2 punch.
And all as AAU, high school, camp. Me and Mo went to war together. My team is gonna be real small.
That's all right. Hey, you good. We got you and Matt. You good. Matt Long, so you straight. Bishop Long.
I gotta go with Tay Jones, man, because that boy was a killer, man. Yeah. Solid. You know what I mean? Tay,
knockdown shooter.
Knockdown shooter. He ain't talk much. You look at the stat book, Tay Jones scored 30.
Yep. That's what's up. I like that. You, Tay Jones, Mo, Mac, and Bishop. That's strong.
And last,
it's gonna be a 6-man. You got 5. It's gonna be a 6-man.
D Jones, man.
D Jones. I like it. Man. That's strong. That's strong right there. Woo, that's strong. That's strong. Yeah, you ain't losing too many with that squad. You go play whether it's the YMCA at the park, wherever. Yeah, that's strong right there. I like that. I like that. And then my last question is: give me an NBA player that you like watching now that's not from our team, not from Miami. Just give me one guy in the league that you just enjoy his game and he sticks out to you.
Ooh, Melo.
Melo. There you go. Easy, right? There you go. I'm happy for Melo.
I got a song. Melo Anthony. Not Ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Yeah, no, not Ball. He don't get the one. He don't get the one name yet. Melo Ball. Nah.
I got a soft spot for Melo, man. That's my guy, man. I love watching Melo play. Especially being rolled out the league. You know what I mean? And coming back and and proving everybody wrong, man. And
exactly.
Yeah, I love him. That's my favorite player. That's my favorite player right now. So
and what's supposed to be Melo instead of Bosh? They came to Miami for the big 3. Could you imagine? We would have got one more. With Melo. We would have lost to Dallas.
I don't know.
On the loss of Dallas. Hey, and listen, I love Bosh. I think I probably love Bosh more than you. I love Bosh. I love Chris Bosh. But we had Melo against Dallas. We needed that extra score. Because LeBron didn't score that year. That was a problem. We would have gotten that.
People don't understand, though. It wasn't even LeBron while we lost to Dallas, man.
What was it?
Tyson Chandler, man.
Oh, yeah, he changed the game. Oh, yeah. As far as the other team, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Being a guy who lived and play defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he altered shots and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like if you remember that year, we didn't really have shooters. Our game was mid-range and in. You know what I mean?
And then our five was El Goss and Joel Anthony. We didn't have nobody down there that could do nothing with them either. So yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and people forget that Tyson Chandler that year or the year before, he was actually supposed to go to OKC. He had that toe injury or knee, something. They didn't want to clear his physical or something. I think it was his foot. And then he ended up going to Dallas and missing piece, man. Like, so yeah, that's a good point.
And that's who should have got Finals MVP. I respect Dirk and everything, but
I feel you.
Tyson Chandler who won them that series, man.
Yeah, he definitely changed the game, but he did a lot of stuff that even don't stop in the stat sheet. So, you know, they weren't gonna give it to him. They were gonna give it to Dirk. But yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call. I like that. That's a good call. Yeah. That's what's up, man. Big War, man. It's been a lot of fun, man. Man. Like I said, man, it was good to chop it up with you, man. Been a minute. I'm glad to hear you doing well. Like I said, thanks for sharing your story, man. I'm gonna make sure that I post this and then I'll have it on YouTube, and I'll make sure I send you the link and share that, man. But man, I appreciate you jumping on here, man. Anything you want to share, man, before we get off here? Anything you want to say to anybody?
Nah, man. I just appreciate you giving me, the opportunity to tell my story, man. Like you said, a lot of people don't know. You know what I mean? Because
I learned a lot, bro.
I'm kind of a private person, you know what I mean? So only those who are close to me really know what was up, you know what I mean? And I appreciate you giving me the flowers, man, because honestly, I don't get them.
You don't. I know you don't. Yeah.
I'm one of them guys who played a groove that was forgotten, you know what I mean?
I agree.
Even with the impact that I had, I never really got the respect I thought I deserved. You know what I mean?
And you know why? And I know we're going to close, but I'm glad you said because I meant to bring it up. It almost seemed like people thought that just because you're hot, you were supposed to do that. You're supposed to be great, but it doesn't work like that. I know a lot of guys that was 6'6", 6'7", that wasn't nowhere near as good as you. And then, like you said, and then when you put in perspective again that when y'all won the Bayside, they hadn't won since 95, 96. Since Haney and Ding and them. So when you put all that in perspective, and that's why you got to go back, people got to go back, and this is forward, do the research, go back and remember these things, because sometimes as time go on, people forget. But you're right, though, but that's why I want to give you flowers, bro, most definitely. I played against you, I know. I know, man. So definitely, man, love is love, man. Again, I definitely appreciate you being on here. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate everybody listening. Real Sports Fan Podcast. We out of here. Peace. All right, bro, I'm going to talk to you, man.
All right, man. Appreciate everybody.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Be safe, bro.
All right, man.
All right, man. Later.